Content-aware scale. Content-aware scale allows you to resize an image without changing the important content. So of course we can select items and we can change them. For instance, if I went to the rectangular marquee tool here and selected just partial of the keyboard here, I could use my move tool, quick key remember is V for that, and slide this in. This one worked okay, however, I have some editing issues right here and a little bit of color alterations. So you could do this method, although it just takes a little bit more time. Now with the content-aware scale, it will shrink the space between what it perceives as elements or individuals and try to maintain the correct scaling. So it works best with people, but Photoshop will try to determine what is there. That's that whole content-aware language that it has. So eventually the image is going to experience some distortion. So if I select everything here, then I go up to Edit and Content-Aware Scale. Now at this point I'm able just to drag the handles. So whether I drag it this direction, you can see, and just watch some of the keys, you can start seeing them become crushed together. It's proportionally changing it all. Now let's go back and do it in the other dimension. Right, you can see how it is squashing it. Now there's some distortion happening right here, you can start to see. But it's doing a fairly good job. It's best for areas that are fairly small. Now let's go to another graphic here. So in this case, if I want to take my rectangular marquee and just take the two here, so I want to move this in, I can certainly do that with the content aware. Under Edit, Content Aware Scale, and just slide this whole thing in. And look what it's doing as far as changing and altering. It does a fairly good job. I could again select all and go under Edit and Content Aware Scale and try this, and you'll see that initially when I first start dragging, it takes a lot of space off of right here. This is the major area that starts to change. Nothing really changes up to this, beyond this point here. So it's trying to scrunch this the best it can. And now at this point you can see it's starting to take it away from over here. If you can just watch what's changing, it's moving the chairs slightly together and it's not really distorting up until around here. I can see that my chairs are starting to get smaller. So it's a really neat way, and you can see if I click OK here to apply it, it doesn't look like I really terribly stretched anybody. One more example here. So here's the ball game. This is my son's team. So if I again click Control A to select all, go under Edit and Content Aware Scale, and again start dragging here. Now watch what happens. You can see that there's a little bit of change happening right here. But all in all, a little bit of change happening here. It's not doing a terrible job of stretching. So this works best if it's going to be small increments and if Photoshop can determine where people start and where people end. But note that eventually the image will experience some sort of distortion with this. So it isn't perfect, but it does do a pretty good job.